you fine men will destroy you in any way we can. Try to walk from war, we'll make it so hard for you all. But with God, our union you stand, 'cause your front is in your own land.
When I write for myself, I tend to write on a project by project basis anyway, so I'm used to kind of making songs up out of bits from the internet and like newspaper articles, photographs, stuff like that, and writing songs about real people has been something I've spent enormous amounts of time doing, so this is kind of like my specialist area, if you like.
Really, just lots of notes. The old notebook. So I had a tour around the museum, and you just, everything you hear, everything that starts to tweak, and everything that you read, you start to try and make notes, and then it's a case of coming back. It was a month ago I went to Doncaster, and it's quite good to leave it a while and then come back, and you start circling and highlighting the things that are jumping out, and the stories that you've remembered that really have stuck with you, and that way you end up with kind of the tales that are embedded somehow.
As often happens with these sort of songwriting projects, there's too much to write about. You get all of this information, and there's only so much you can write about, and you kind of feel a little bit swamped. So you get all this information, and I sort of left it alone for a week and went back to it and thought, where on earth do I begin with this? And you just kind of find the odd thing that jumps out at you, and that might be an overarching thing, an overarching idea that, for instance, ran, I don't know, a theme or an idea over the whole war, or it might be, as has been the case, writing a song about one specific person or one specific event that happened on a Sunday in 1915, whatever.
I'll usually go via a notebook, and then I'll type something up on the laptop. I'll go notebook, and then I'll try and put a tune on it, and then I'll go through and I'll maybe type it onto the laptop. And as you sing through it, you start to see, that doesn't work, or that doesn't work, like that line doesn't sing. In fact, here, listen, there's let me fire this up. There's a bit on this one here that I was doing earlier. Hang on. Which I wonder if I've got on this. So when we were in the museum, there was little Tommy Atkins, the soldier's son. I don't know if you saw that. It's like like the playing cards, Happy Families playing cards, and I saw that and I thought that is actually quite creepy, so there was Mr. Atkins, Mr. Tommy Atkins, the soldier, as in Tommy, and then Mrs. Atkins, the soldier's wife, and little Tommy Atkins, the soldier's son, and there he is in his outfit with his gun, and I'm always intrigued about these boys that signed up early. Like my grandpa signed up early to World War II. He lied about his age, and they kept him on for the extra 2 years as well. So I written this little Tommy Atkins, but there's version 1 with my daughter's name written 7 times across the page, and then version 2 is quite different. So maybe why don't I sing you a good version of and the same verse where it's been changed? Here we go. So like, little Tommy Atkins walked 10 miles in the rain. Boots don't fit the kit, his heavy feet in constant pain. Quite difficult to get that in, eh? Trained him with a vicar, stuck bayonets into straw. Packed them off to sunny France, loaded on a train, or something. And then I think it turned to little Tommy Atkins marching 10 miles in the rain, pissing in your boots to help relieve the pain. Now he can point a rifle, bayonet the straw, and they sent him off to Flanders, packed aboard a train. Sent him off to Flanders, packed aboard a train.
It's a really big topic. And the archives, they've done such a great job on this project that the material that they've gathered is ginormous amounts. It's a colossal input of information, and trying to pick places to start can feel overwhelming, because you're drawn to so many things that you really have to go, okay, let's just pinpoint some places and try and go small to build up. But yeah, there's so much there. And also just the subject matter being so colossally overwhelming that you can easily go down a rabbit hole and end up completely shattered by the subject matter. Because there is definitely a sense, this project is about war and peace, and the times that followed the First World War, rather than just about the wartime experiences. And there's certainly a really huge sense of uncertainty that seemed to follow the First World War, with men being sent home but still on, I think they call it Second Reserve or Second Division. They could be called back out at any time. The actual peace treaties weren't signed till June, the year after the armistice, and men were arriving home and there was no work, and people didn't talk about it. There was a huge lack of well-being consideration going on. So it's quite daunting. It's quite a huge amount of uncertainty that you kind of are going through to work out these songs. So that's the trouble. That's the tricky stuff.
And you just sort of sit there, and all three of us, the musicians involved in this project, have probably got different ways of writing. And so I've just sort of been squirreled away in a room upstairs, trying to put some ideas down and and sort of try and create some songs. Interestingly, I think one of the big challenges has been there's so much information, so much. I mean, we had such a fantastic day at Cusworth and the museum in Donny. That it's kind of like, what do I do with all this information? A song, between 2.5 and 5 minutes probably, and you've got literally a day's worth of material. So one of the challenges is kind of knowing what to write about and what not to write about. I've written more than 3 songs, put it that way, but there's only 3 that will make the final cut. So you've got to write some rubbish, and maybe the 3 that I'm still with are rubbish as well. That's not, but yeah, that's been another challenge. It's kind of writing songs on demand can be an interesting thing.
Workers, friends or believers, but with God or union you stand, 'cause your front is in your own land. With God or union you stand, because your front is in your own land, because your front is in your own land.
I felt like when we came to this project, there's been an awful lot of songs written about the First World War because of many projects, because of the centenary. But also there's been a load of great songs written in the folk tradition. Certainly, there's loads. And there's loads of very good ones, so you're it's a pretty high bar.
It's always really useful to have other humans playing music around you, because when you're in your own house by yourself, it's really easy to get tempted away by other jobs you have to do, by admin, by house stuff, by anything else, by the telly. But when there's other people around who are on the same project as you, then you do bounce off each other straight away, and that's great. So you can... there's somebody playing a song upstairs and it just rattles down through this ceiling, and there's somebody else in the next room trying to, singing away, and it motivates you and it drives you on, and you bounce ideas off each other.
All for God and country, that's why we do this drill. How they gonna square this? The book says thou shalt not kill. All for King and Kitchener, I wouldn't go of my own free will, 'cause no one asks about the sick, 'cause it says thou shalt not kill. Well, I wouldn't lie and I wouldn't steal, nor take my best friend's girl. Now they say it's fine for me to ignore thou shalt not kill. both sides of the front line bow their heads and stand quite still. They worship the same God as us, yet we know thou shalt not kill. Well, I listened to the chaplain, and he said this is God's will, but I've seen it written in his book. It still says thou shalt not kill. I wouldn't lie and I wouldn't steal, nor take my best friend's girl. So they say it's fine for me to ignore thou shalt not kill. That didn't finish when they said, and there were more guts and glory, just men and mud and letters home, while they covered up their story. Oh, the rich will just get richer while we fight to the bitter end. And after this is over, how will we all make amends? Well, I wouldn't lie and I wouldn't steal, nor take my best friend's girl. Now they say it's fine for me to ignore thou shalt not kill. Oh, they lied to us, they stole our youth, they had quotas to fulfill. And I don't think it's right that they ignored thou shalt not